All right. Give a few more seconds to make sure everyone is joining. All right. Jumbo and Karibu, thank you all so much for joining us today. My name is Alyssa.
And my name is Krishna. And we are members of the Weiss Scholarship Foundation Advisory Board. The Weiss Scholarship Foundation was founded by Brett Weiss with the mission to empower the children of Kenya through access to education and eventually empower all children in the world with education.
We do so by funding high school scholarships for children in Dago and most recently our newest community, Kilgoris, Kenya. These scholarships not only inspire children to succeed in high school, but also higher education and beyond.
While a large component of the scholarship is the monetary benefit, covering 4 years of high school tuition, board, supplies, etc., the value we provide to our students goes way beyond the financial support. We take a holistic approach to solving the problem of access to education, which means we have trained staff on the ground in Kenya who are involved in each student's life inside and outside the classroom, who are able to help our students navigate challenges in their daily lives and best set them up for success. This was one of the biggest reasons why I joined the WSF Advisory Board. We're constantly assessing how we can create more opportunities for our students to succeed even beyond high school. This led us to starting the Dago Tailoring School in 2020 that employs some of our high school graduates. As some of you are aware, all the registration fees from this event will be put towards supplies for our Dago Tailoring School to make reusable feminine care pads, which are not very accessible in Kenya today. You'll hear more about this initiative later in the presentation.
I joined the Weiss Scholarship Foundation Advisory Board because I'm incredibly passionate about making education accessible to the world. There are many problems in the world that need fixing: poverty, inequality, hunger, and the list goes on. Many times these problems differ across cultures. So I believe if we can help educate the world, people will be able to solve these problems in a way that's accepted and adopted by their own cultures. I see how these children in Kenya want to create a better future for themselves and their communities. So being a member of the Weiss Scholarship Foundation makes me a part of that. So now that we've shared the story of the Weiss Scholarship Foundation, we want to cover a few items before starting the event.
Please check out our raffle prizes by following the link posted in the Paybe chat. Buying a raffle ticket is super easy and you will be entered to win cool prizes handcrafted in Kenya, such as a Masai. All raffle ticket funds will be put towards funding high school scholarships for children in Dago and Kilgoris in Kenya.
You can also follow the second link posted in the chat to bid on silent auction items. You'll see we have some really cool auction items such as a signed NBA basketball. We have a Kenya trip for 2 for those who love to travel, and we even have a Best of Broadway package. Again, all bids will be put towards Weiss Scholarship Foundation's mission.
Lastly, please encourage your friends and family to donate to WSF so we can give children the education that they deserve. You will see that a few dollars goes a long way for these children. We also encourage you to donate through your company if your company matches donations to 501c3 organizations, which we are.
So if you have any questions or comments during the event, we'll be addressing them through the chat function in Paybe. So please don't hesitate to post in the live chat and interact with us. So with that being said, I would love to introduce you all to the founder of the Weiss Scholarship Foundation, Brett Weiss.
Thank you, Alyssa and Krishna. Thank you very much for the introduction. Thanks to all of you, our champions who are on this tonight. It took a lot of people doing a lot of work to put this together. Our advisory board, particularly Christian, who's the man behind the scenes, doing all the important stuff. So what I want to do, Alyssa, we get the PowerPoint up here, is give you kind of an overview. Some of you know some of this. Talk a little bit about what we're doing, and then we have 2 really exciting presentations after me here. So, in 2009, I made a volunteer trip to Kenya. And, I met Patrick, who you're going to meet in a little bit here, and met his family and all the people in Dago, Kenya, fell in love with them, and decided we had to do something to help. The nicest, most kind, polite people I've ever met. and they just want their children to have a better chance here. So, I talk all the time about how more than half the children in the world get little to no education. And sadly, that's been true for a long time, and it just doesn't really change. We believe that education is the only long-term sustainable solution to poverty. We believe that we're creating young people who are going to go out and solve the other problems of safe water and medical care and food and other things like that. So the next slide, please, Krishna. Or I'm sorry, Alyssa. Once again, Alyssa and Krishna reminded you of the raffle tickets we have. And there we go. Okay. Anyway, they reminded you of the raffle tickets, silent auction items, things like that you can help out. Please take advantage of that. I know Ankit is putting them in the chat there. The fee, as you guys know, is going to help us buy more materials for reusable feminine care pads. As we get going here, we send children to 4 years of high school for $3,500. Okay, that's amazing. That's all 4 years. That's down to $3 a day. So even a little bit of money goes a real long way here. All right, Alyssa, go ahead, please. So what is our mission here? Our mission is really about empowering children in Kenya with education as we work to build an entire world where every child gets a great education. Yeah, we have a really big goal. And sometimes people laugh at me when I say, yeah, our goal is to create a world where every child gets a great education. And my response to that is, if you're going to have a goal, it might as well be a big goal. Why not? Shouldn't we have a world where every child has the opportunity to get a great education? And that's really what we're all about here. We have worked really hard to not be people who go to Africa and tell people how to live their lives. We really don't do that. I have gone there to listen and learn. I don't know how to run my own life. I'm not going to tell them how to run theirs. So we have listened and learned, and we're trying to do the things that the people on the ground there in Kenya tell us that they need. The children that we're helping, they're coming from places where AIDS has devastated their communities. Many of our children don't have either parent. Others may only have one. Very few people live past 40. There's little to no medical care. No real electricity or plumbing. Most of these kids live in a mud hut, a tiny mud hut with a whole lot of people sleeping on the dirt floor. Very limited clothing, limited food. These are children who could not go to high school without our help. All right, so give me the next slide, please, there. So here's some of the numbers as we go forward here, and these are cumulative. You can see in 2017, we were at 32. We are now up to 101 scholarships that we've given here. And basically the way we do it is we pick children for high school based on an exam they take at the end of primary school. I'm going to talk more about that and the importance of how we deal with girls and boys here. So we're up to 101. Once again, these are children who would never go to high school without our help because the Kenyan government doesn't pay for high school. But I also want to point out, while we're very proud of those numbers there, I'm even more proud of the quality behind those numbers. Alyssa and Krishna mentioned that we're doing a whole lot more than just paying money out to pay for their school fees. We have people on the ground, our mentor coordinators. We have our staff on the ground that you're going to learn more about here that are working with these children on a regular basis to make sure we're doing everything we can to help them be very successful. We like to talk about a holistic approach that we're taking. So the next slide, please, there. So we believe strongly in equality, equal opportunity for girls and boys. So a firm rule ever since we started is that all of our money gets divided equally between girls and boys. I say quite often, this is a very tough world for all children, but it's brutal for girls in all kinds of horrible ways. The reality is, over the years, if we had awarded scholarships just based on test scores, very few girls would have received one. And that would be a shame because we cannot end poverty unless girls are educated. And there's all kinds of research that shows if you give girls a chance, they'll do just as well, if not better, than the boys, but they have to get the chance. So we're trying to provide opportunities to all these children to help them reach their full potential. All right, next slide, please. So one of the cool things, I keep a lot of data on these things. I guess it's the teacher in me. When we started this in Dago, the boys tended to score about 20% higher than the girls on that exam at the end of primary school. Every year, all the scores have been going up, boys and girls, but the girl scores have skyrocketed. And in the latest exam, the gap was only 4%. And I think it shows what happens when you give girls an opportunity to excel. They really do excel. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if next year the girls end up doing better than the boys. But whatever, they're all doing much better. And it's really important that the girls are doing a lot better. All right, so the next slide, please. So as I mentioned, we send kids to high school. And at the end of high school, they take an exam. It's like their SAT exam. If they do really well, they get to go to university. If they don't do as well, we're helping them get into different vocational schools. So our mentor coordinators, Ernest and Christine, and you're going to meet Christine in a little bit here, they're on the ground every day helping these children to be successful. Because what I learned early on is, yeah, these kids need financial help, but they need a lot more than that. A lot of their parents, most of the mothers have had really no education. The fathers have had very little. It's really hard for them to help their children through all the challenges they face going through school. And that's what our staff is doing on the ground there. They visit them every term. There are 3 terms in the school year. We have children at many different boarding schools around Kenya. They visit them. We get their report cards. We go over the report cards with them. I like to say we're there to praise them on what they do well, but also to help them overcome all the challenges that they face. And folks, these kids face challenges that most of us here in the United States cannot even imagine. They meet with the principal, assistant principal, all of their key teachers. Back in the village, they're regularly meeting with the parents. The idea is we want all of the adults in the children's life to be working together to make sure we're doing everything possible to help them be successful. All right, next slide, please. So here is our staff that we have, and obviously that's me up on the top left there. But on the right-hand side are our three really part-time people. Mama Pamela and Duncan are really the leaders in the village of Dago. And none of this could have been done without them. And Duncan's a retired teacher and a pretty successful farmer now. The bottom right is George, who is one of their adult children. George is the only person in Dago to have a driver's license. He doesn't have a car, but he has a driver's license. So he is my driver. And I know he drives for other people when they rent cars and he helps them get around. But the 2 most important people on this slide are Ernest and Christine. And you're going to hear from Christine in a little bit. They are our mentor coordinators. They're university graduates trained to be teachers who are phenomenal at their job. And they're very passionate about doing everything they can to help our children be successful. All right, next slide, please. So we're going to hear from Winnie, who's one of our students here who goes to the Jane and Denny Memorial School. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Winnie Noel from JAMS. I want to take this opportunity to appreciate our sponsors for the support that they have given for us. For you have enabled us to stay in school and learn. I promise to work hard to achieve my objectives in life. Thank you.
Thank you, Winnie. So next, I'm going to tell you about Nicholas. Some of you know I wrote a book about all this stuff, and it's coming up there. Nicholas is one of the boys on the cover of the book with me. That's him and Victor at St. Pius Shuari High School a few years ago. But he is in his 4th year of an engineering program at the University of Nairobi right now. I did a Zoom call with him a couple of months ago, and I asked him what he was currently working on, and he told me he's doing an internship working on a GPS system that will predict weather patterns in Kenya, which is pretty cool in a place where pretty much everybody's a farmer and a lot of people are struggling to get enough food. Now, anybody who knows me knows I don't know anything about engineering. So Nicholas was using engineering terms to explain what he was doing. And I just kind of pretended I knew what he was talking about. But what was really going on in my head is I was thinking, how cool is this? A few years ago, Nicholas was a boy growing up in a mud hut in Dago, thinking he would never even get to high school. And now here he is working on a GPS system, And next year, he's going to be an engineering graduate from the University of Nairobi. Folks, that is what all this is about. Think of how sad it would have been if Nicholas hadn't been able to achieve his full potential here. And he's just a brilliant young man who's going to go out and do some great things. All right, so next slide, we're going to hear from Jakim, another one of our students here, who goes to Kanyawanga, if I said that right, secondary school.
Hello, I'm Jackie Mokot, a student at Kanyawanga High School. I'm in Form 2. I would like to thank the scholarship program for their much concern on a student like me. Actually, without the help from them, I would have not made it to where I am by now. Lots of thanks to you, and may Lord bless you. I'm working so much hard to achieve my great ambitions in future, so that one day I become one of the men of substance in life. I really want to thank you, and may the Lord bless you.
All right, thank you, Jakim. Next, I want to tell you a little bit about Hazel. Hazel's a young woman who just recently graduated high school. Unfortunately, she did not score well enough on the exam to get to university, and she was devastated by this. She felt like she had failed. She felt like she failed her family, and there's a lot of pressure on these kids. So we've been talking to her, and Ernest and Christine have worked with her a lot. One of the things we wanted to do is we said to her, you're the first person in your family to ever graduate high school. How cool is that? Be proud of that. Let's celebrate that. And Ernest and Christine have been working with her on a vocation that she would want to go into. And she's been exploring different options. She recently has applied to several vocational schools. And pretty soon we'll learn about which one she's going to go to and what the career she really actually wants to go into. And it's a great example of the work our mentor coordinators are doing on the ground there. All right, so on the next slide, unfortunately, there's virtually an unlimited number of students out there in the world who need our help. What this is all about, kind of what we just saw with any of these students here, is helping to all the potential that they have, to helping them live up to all their potential. Every week, I am contacted by several places in Kenya, people who say, please bring your program to our school. Please bring your program to our village. And to be frank, I get contacted from people all around Africa and sometimes in Asia even, asking me to bring it there. And, as we get more money and as we grow the business, that's exactly what we want to do. Alyssa and Krista mentioned that we recently took our work to a second village in Kenya, in Kilgoris. We've begun to scale our business, and that's the term that I use, and we want to keep scaling it. So go to the next slide, please. And I'm really honored. I'm going to introduce you to Christine via video. Christine is one of our mentor coordinators. So Christine, take it from there.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christine Aloch, a project coordinator and a mentor at Weiss Scholarship Foundation, based in the US, and is focusing on providing 4 years high school scholarship to Dago primary school children in Western Kenya. I was born and raised in Dago Kogelo village in Migori County, where I lived my entire life. I'm a graduate from Kenyatta University with Bachelor's of Education Arts. I understand the challenges of a girl child growing in Dago village and in Kenya. My aim daily is to help them be successful in school and in the community so that they can make their dream come true. Weiss Scholarship Foundation mission is to ensure every child gets quality education. The foundation works to help every child in Dago school reach their full potential through quality education. As a mentor and a coordinator, I am responsible for the student well-being in our program by supporting all their needs while under our care. One of the main goals is to spend quality time with our students and relevant school representatives, ensuring our students have all basic school needs and encouraging them to perform better. Thank you for joining and supporting our mission to end poverty in our community through equitable educational opportunities for all. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Christine. And last slide that I have here, I mentioned that we have taken our work to a second village And we're looking to expand to more as we have money and as we manage our business properly. But I'm going to end it for here right now. And I'm going to introduce a couple of amazing women. With our Dago Tailoring School last year, there's a group down in Miami called DesignLab Give. And Madison and Paula, who you're going to meet in a moment here, are two ladies there. And they have done some amazing work through Zoom with the tailoring school down in Dago, and in particular with the reusable feminine care pads. So they have a great presentation for you. So I'm going to turn it over to Madison and Paula right now. Take it away. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for having us. Greetings from Miami. Thank you, Brett, for allowing us to share our story. So my name is Paula, and I'm Director of Communications and co-founder of DesignLab Give. Let me introduce you to my team. Angie, who's also a co-founder and creative director. She creates the programs and teaches the courses. She is the face behind the hands you see in our virtual tutorials. We have Nathan, whose background in material science and engineering complements Angie's passion for innovation. He's key to our growth and sustainability. Madison, our associate director, who will join me today in sharing our story. This young, innovative mind keeps us on top of technology and is continuously pushing us to dream big. And along with our directing team, we have a very strong volunteer group made up of high school, very creative high school students who have traveled with us and have become part of our family.
From her sewing studio in Miami, Angie, our creative director, has been igniting creativity in her students for 10 plus years. Her motto is, anything is possible, meaning there's always a solution. This is the backbone of our teaching philosophy at DesignLab Give. Angie incorporates sustainable practices in all of her teachings, from recycled materials to bioplastics. This way, our tutorials come at no cost to our girls and teaches them to be resourceful by just needing one used t-shirt to get started. We believe that sewing is the gateway to igniting possibilities for all of the girls we teach. If you need a pad to go to school, sew one. If you need a diaper bag for your child, sew one. If you need clothes to cover your back, sew one. Our tutorials allow them to see for themselves that they can make their lives better. Through our classes, women can improve their quality of life, not only for themselves, but for their families. As DesignLab Give, we spark creativity through the way of the sewing machine, thanks to Angie's creative genius and undying belief in her students.
As DLG entered its third year in 2020, we were introduced to a group of organizations that worked in Kenya, one of them being the Weiss Scholarship Foundation. We were invited to collaborate with them in the creation of a tailoring school in a small rural town on the edge of Lake Victoria. And that is when our story with Dago begins. DesignLab Give was excited to be included with such an amazing project, along with organizations that had traveled to Dago years before, and they knew the community and their needs. DLG began prepping for months for this trip to Africa and anxiously awaited to meet the women of Dago. As we got closer to our travel dates, so did the news of a worldwide virus. Soon, the world began closing its borders due to COVID, and we sadly began to see that our trip would be affected by this pandemic. And in May of 2020, our workshop in Dago, Kenya was canceled.
The solution was Zoom. Angie and Paola scheduled a Zoom call to say hello to the Dago group they were supposed to be teaching physically. This meeting was our gateway to overcoming this new hurdle that had been presented to us by COVID-19. We could teach the women of Dago without moving from our homes. It was a moment of glee and hope was high. Angie's motto was ringing true once again. Anything is possible. You just have to believe it.
So it was 6 a.m. Miami time, Dago 1 p.m., and we introduced ourselves to a small group of women and their teacher, Ms. Lorna. And we were greeted not only by the teacher and her students, but a small gathering of community leaders. Our Zoom call had created a buzz, and everyone was curious. We could hear the sounds of Dago, the cock-a-doodle-doo of the rooster, the children playing in the background, as well as the sounds of the sewing machine. In turn, we showed them Angie's Miami studio and the many projects made by her young students. Bags made from recycled plastic, tops upcycled from clothing found at the local thrift stores, hand-painted fabric, and the item of the moment, face masks made with colorful prints. The conversation was flowing, and the connection that day was perfect. So this video shows one of our early sessions and is one of the many proud moments that Angie and I experienced while teaching the ladies of Dago. Seeing the smiles on their faces and having them show us their projects, it was so clear to us that we were onto something and that the Zoom thing that everyone was talking about was actually going to work. We did have some hurdles at the beginning, issues with vocabulary words, but nothing to stop what quickly became our weekly 2-hour sessions. Regardless of communication barriers, Ms. Lorna, Dago's instructor, and Angie connected immediately. They spoke the same language as teachers. They were excited to connect virtually and to teach these girls together. In the past, our DLG workshops were physical and they were very successful, yet now meeting virtually, how could we connect? So Angie and I felt very strong about maintaining communication, and we messaged the group regularly via WhatsApp. And we shared pictures of the work, and they would ask us questions in regards to measurements and fabric. So we look forward to our weekly meetings, and as we sewed together, we laughed and quickly became friends. Our experience taught us that forming these great relationships is very key to the success of our classes. And we were determined to continue even if our connection was online. The bond created and the conversations we started brought us to their Dago life. And it was at this time that we started talking about women's issues in Kenya, and in particular, the rural community. Their comments showed us the major injustices that girls faced and how having their period affected their daily life and limited their education and their life dreams. When we were prepping for our trip, someone brought to our attention an article that was in the New York Times. It resonated with what the girls in Dago were telling us. The article mentioned a young girl in rural town Kenya who was ostracized by her classmates for having a stain on her skirt from her period. She was asked to leave the class by the teacher. She was later scolded by her mom at home, and she ended her life by a river due to sheer humiliation and shame over something so normal.
According to the UN, 500 million girls in sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia can't properly manage their periods. And it's because they aren't educated in regards to feminine care and they don't have access to pads or tampons. It takes about 500 to 800 years for pads and tampons to biodegrade. And at least every woman in the Western Hemisphere uses about 10 to 13,000 pads or tampons per year. So now that you've heard the terrible news, you must be thinking to yourself, now what?
After you trace, it's important always.
The solution, a reusable feminine care pad, but this wasn't an overnight success. Angie worked with prototypes and tested several styles and fabrics until we had the perfect feminine care pad. As our Zoom classes continued, one day Miss Lorna asked us during class if DLG could teach the girls how to make a pad, and we were ready. Angie wanted the project to be low cost, sustainable, and easy for the girls to make. Our reusable pad is made from a used t-shirt, and all a girl needs is a working sewing machine. For every pad, there's one less humiliated girl, but a confident one, ready to accomplish her dreams and pursue her education without worry. Part of our mission is female empowerment. We need women to tap into their potential and dream big. That all starts with one simple thing: a pad.
Is to pin it together because 2 layers sometimes.
This experience proved that remote learning is effective. Since our Dago days, we started filming our tutorials and uploading them online to increase our reach. Our core values are creativity, empowerment, and a sense of community. Through creativity, anything is possible. When a problem strikes, a solution can be created. Just take out your sewing machine and a used t-shirt. Our goal is to enable these women to pursue an education that makes them feel fulfilled. After their first project with us, they realize that they can create anything their heart desires. Human beings crave connection, and we all want to belong. So with the process of learning to sew, they're doing it together with the help of us. We are inspired by the untapped potential of all the girls around the world who haven't been given a fair chance to grow. No girl should be shameful about her period, and every girl needs to know that she can change her reality for the better.
So by September, our group had a very special connection, and that month happens to be Angie's birthday. And I wanted to share this video that the Dago lady sent to us. And we watch it often when we need to have a bit of inspiration, and it's a bit of a push when we're in troubled waters. These ladies lift our spirits and they keep us engaged in our mission.
Today in 2021, DLG continues to teach women in other parts of Africa, and as of this September, we return to South America. With all of our Dago Zoom classes recorded, we've had the opportunity to add new videos and also start recording our videos in Spanish. As we reach for more women to assist and impact worldwide, we hope to grow our languages as well. Every day, we're in communication with new organizations that focus on women's well-being. Partnering with Brett and other organizations showed us the power of collaboration. We know the power of teaching one woman or girl is catalytic. She will inspire her friends to pursue their dreams as well. Now, I'm going to pass it over to Paola for a special update from Dago.
So today, Dago has a tailoring school. It's called Threads of Hope, and it's a collaboration of a determined group that sees potential in people and knows the value of education. DesignLab was lucky to have been a part of such an impressive group of organizations, and we sparked creativity, and our Zoom classes inspired many. We hope DLG's virtual platform will continue as a part of Threads of Hope enrichment program in the future. Brett recently informed us that 80 participants are involved in a pad project in Dago, and the components of Feminine Kids are made by Lorna and her students. I hope our story has inspired you to believe that all it takes is a small action, which in turn can be a positive turning point in someone's life. We believe kindness should always be our engine, and I thank you so much for listening to our story, and I invite you to follow us on Instagram for rest of adventures and stories. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Paula and Madison. And we're all learning a little bit about a live presentation. I can assure everybody out there we have practiced this several times and the videos worked fine. So we don't know, but we're gonna get those videos out to you anyway here. So thank you, Madison and Paula. Let me make my next introduction. Back in July of 2009, I made my first trip to Kenya. One morning, I'm at a gas station in downtown Nairobi, and I met a young man named Patrick Odoyo. And he took me out to Dago that day, and he happens to be the son or the adult sons of Mama Pamela and Duncan, who are my hosts. He's lived in Florida for many years, and I've asked him to come here today to talk a little bit about the impact our foundation has had on the village of Dago. So Patrick is going to join me here somewhere. Here we go. Okay, there's Patrick. Okay, Patrick is my Kenyan brother. He has helped me in so many different ways. And Patrick, you take it from there and give him your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone who has joined us this evening. And first, I want to give kudos to the team of Weiss Foundation in the US and all the board of directors who have worked so hard to make this happen today. I always tell everyone that I'm just a connector. I try to see what opportunities my friends have in the US and connect that with the needs that we have back in Kenya. So I'm just going to highlight a few points on the impact of Weiss Scholarship Foundation in my community. And this is going to touch on, Christian, if you want to go to the next slide, on families. I'm going to talk about the impact on the school itself from 2009 to today. What does this mean to the teachers in our community, and what has the impact generally been in our community and all the neighboring 14 villages, as well as the economy of the area? To talk about families, I'm going to, Christian, if you want to go to my next slide, I'm going to give up a story about a journey of one of the students. This is Victor. Victor was one of the first recipients of the scholarship when Brett started this program. And you can see his journey. He is in his last year of college. He's graduating possibly this December with a degree in finance, and is also looking into ways to start doing his CPS, because you know that CPA, finance, and computer technology will position him. But Victor was an inspiration, and Victor is one of the example of the 101 that we've been talking about. His journey is different because Victor at his senior year of school has been forced to have marriage out of necessity so that the mom has somebody to support the family when he's back at home. So that impact that Victor has had an opportunity for studies, we know beyond his education, is going to do a lot of things. And this is a great example on how one student who has benefited from this program would impact so many other people within his family structure. On the next slide, I'll talk slightly about the impact of the school. So 2009, when Brett started the program, we had 190 students in Dago Primary School. Currently, we are talking about 694 students that are enrolled in the school, all with the hopes that they could be among the top 20 or the top 12 or the top 18, depending on how much money we fundraise to get a scholarship to go to this to high school and also beyond. So you can tell how much pressure that puts on our teachers and on our local resources as well. But we've always figured out a way to make sure that anyone who comes and joins our school has equal opportunity for these scholarships. But we are also not just sitting around. We knew that it was so competitive to get into high schools. One of the foundation that we created because of necessity was to start funding early childhood education. So we have 120 students that get real good early childhood foundation for them to prosper when it comes to doing their national exams. But on the back end, just like we have ANGIE and Madison, we are always thinking about what are the next opportunity if student doesn't make it to the university. So tailoring is one of our first vocational programs. And I know out of this impact, we will keep creating opportunities for our students. On the next slide, I will talk about our teachers. We know that the country does assign teachers to our schools. So currently we have 14 teachers in total, and I was talking about 600 plus students. We have 11 government assigned teachers, but we also have community teachers as well to support. So we are always thinking about ways to reduce the load on the teachers as well as the load on students so the impact can be felt. We are looking at how do we expand our classrooms, which have been very, very interesting conversation. Even though it's a public school, we are trying our best to make sure that that partnership between the community, our program, and the government is cohesive enough for us to be able to make it a greater environment for our students to succeed. So last year we had 72 students that enrolled. This year we have 8th graders that have enrolled from 57, just because of how well our school performed in the last year's national exams. On the next slide, I will talk about in the community. So you had Brett talking about opportunities for employment. We know as this program is growing, we need more people that are giving support to our students and our schools. These have created employment within my community. We have counseling for both parents, because we want parents' engagement and involvement in their children's lives. So there's a lot of, when we have breaks, parents and students get together and we get counselors on all different levels of conversation. What's your interest for university? So we make sure that that pathway is created for you. And the community, you see, we are starting the vocational programs. So the impact alone of the scholarship is creating all these avenues in our community that's making it livable and better for everyone as well. On the next slide, I will talk about, Christian, if you want to go to the next slide. I'll talk about the economy. We know that with the strain of school fees taken off parents, this has put a little bit extra money in the hands of our families and our friends, our families and our neighbors. And we've realized that the mothers are joining hands to start village banking systems with that money that otherwise they would have spent to send their kids to school. And now the program around microfinancing is flourishing because mothers have a little extra money to join and be part of our microfinancing initiatives. Same with the fathers joining, like beekeeping and other projects like that. So I'll conclude by saying that in 10 plus years, Christian, if you want to go to the next one, in 10 plus years, the impact of Weiss Foundation in Dago and beyond is visible, because we can go to home, we can go to the school, we can go to the neighboring areas and realize that this is working and it's really helping our community. So if I would encourage you to join us, be the change maker and give generously today to help us further the work that we are doing in Dago for high school students. Thank you so much. I will give it back to Brett Wentz so that he can continue the conversation.
Patrick, thank you very much. And one of the things I meant to mention, and when I introduced Patrick, you met Christine, one of our mentor coordinators on the video there. Christine is Patrick's younger sister. So I know he's very, very proud of his sister and all the great work that she is doing there. So, and Christine is amazing. So thank you. So I'm gonna turn it over now back over to Alyssa and Krishna, talk to you a little bit, and then I will wrap it up in a little bit. Ladies, take it away.
All right, so this is bringing us to the end of our event. So I want to take this moment to thank you all for spending the last almost hour with us. I hope you enjoyed learning about Weiss Scholarship Foundation's mission and work just as much as we enjoyed sharing our story with you. So noting that we will be sharing the content and videos presented after the event through email. I know many of you are eager to watch the videos that we didn't get to today with DesignLab Give, so we will be sharing that out in a thank you email after the event. And some other reminders before closing. The first is that the raffle and silent auction will remain active on Paybe for the next 2 days. That's 48 hours. So please continue to buy some raffle tickets, bid on silent auction items. You can share with your family, friends, if you think some of the prizes or auction items would be interesting for them. They did not have to register and attend the event to actually buy raffle tickets and bid on silent auction items. So we highly encourage you to share.
We also encourage you to check with your employer if they happen to provide a match for any donations that you make to the Weiss Scholarship Foundation, because the corporate match essentially doubles the impact of your donation. On the screen, you'll find other ways to support us as well, including choosing Weiss Scholarship Foundation as the beneficiary for your Amazon Smile account. And finally, please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have ideas that will help us realize our dream of creating a world where every child gets an education. We've come so far using the crowdsourced knowledge of all of our supporters and hope to continue learning and improving throughout our journey. With that, I will pass it back to Brett.
Thank you again, Christian and Alyssa. So we want you to contact us. There's my email address. There's my mobile number. There's our website. We have some wonderful stuff up on the website. You can learn a lot about our students. We're very active on social media there. We have a YouTube channel, the Weiss Scholarship Foundation YouTube channel also. So in wrapping up here, my phone has been exploding with texts from many different people as we're doing this, which is great. So one of the things I want to mention is we had a big goal tonight, and our goal is $100,000. We have already raised over $30,000. And while that may not seem much, that's just kind of the beginning. There's a whole lot of other stuff that's going to be happening here. So I will do a ditto on Krishna and Alyssa talking about 48 hours on the silent auction, the raffle tickets, making donations, getting friends and family to make donations, things like that, because we really want to reach this $100,000. That is our goal here. So, in wrapping it up, a lot of thank yous here. Christian and Alyssa for being our hosts, who've been amazing. Christian Garcia, who is the brains behind all of this. You can't see him, but the technology, he's the one who's making all this technology work, because I never could have done it. And many other members of our advisory board who are behind the scenes and helped to put all this together. I want to thank all of you. Brianna, who's on our advisory board, loves the word champions, and I agree, Brianna. All you people out there are our champions. We can't do this without you, and we can't do more in the future without you. So thank you for being our champions. We are going to get stuff out. I apologize on the videos again. There's a copy of this. We're going to send out the videos from DesignLab Gives. They're amazing videos, and sorry you didn't get to see them. So that is going to be it for us here. I'm going to wrap it up. And as most of you know, the way I usually wrap things up with is the Sante Sana. God bless all of you.